What's going on with this Vices lore? Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Hey, anybody else taking a look at the set spoiler for Phantom Nightmare? Kind of looking at some of these numbers and kind of noticed something here. Where's the Vices lore at this point? What's going on with that? Well, interesting topic here, but looking at how this set is structured for Phantom Nightmare, a few people are going, the lore is done. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, huh? What kind of working theory is this that we're done with the Vices lore? Now, if you pay attention to the last art pieces that we got out of Age of Overlord, you might have noticed something in terms of lore that was a little bit interesting. It was Vices got sent back in time, and that kind of makes you go, oh, so it's just a repeating cycle over and over again? Like, that's where we're going to end the Vices story. It's just he gets sent back in time by the pendulum, and now he's forced to go back through this endless loop forever. Well, that's just dirty if that's how they're going to do it. If they're literally going to leave a piece of lore as an infinite time loop, I feel bad. That's disgusting. Now, okay. First of all, I do want to say that compared to the branded storyline, I think that everything that came out of the Vices lore was infinitely more toxic. Okay, so like the branded storyline gave you branded cards. It gave you, well, obviously Fallen of Albaz, Aluber and friends. You got Sprite, you got Thurion, and you got Tri-Brigade, which was a little bit ahead of its time. And then, what was it? There was something else. Sprite? Oh, yeah, we got Sprite. So Sprite was a top tier competitor. Sure. I mean, most of this stuff was, but let's talk about the bangers out of the Vices storyline. Okay, so Scareclaw. Okay, well, Scareclaw started off absolutely terribly, all right? You know, everybody looked at Scareclaw and they're like, hey, you know, this is garbage. You know, it kind of took off as a little bit more of a little bit roguish deck. Tyr slams into the room here. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's Tier 0. Okay, well, that causes a Tier 0 format. I don't remember Sprite causing a Tier 0 format. Do you? No. Branded put us on a Tier 1 format, but okay. And then we slam into the second deck out of the storyline for Vices, which was Kashtira, which, oh, God. 2 Tier 0 decks out of the same lore. Come on now. Come on. All right. Nobody. Apples to oranges. Storylines to Tier 0s. And then we got Mana Diem. All right. Well, Mana Diem's the Synchro archetype. It's not as crazy as what we were initially expecting in comparison to the others. But I mean, it merges with the Scareclaw stuff. And you kind of have the little hybrid build. All right. So you got a Tier 1. If they were to leave the storyline at the point that it is, as an infinite loop, just to amputate the terrible decks that have come out of this, I got a clap for you, Konami. You realized a mistake, and you cleaned it up. Now, what I kind of... Well, hold on. So, Diabellstar has kind of become what feels like the story branch for this current block, which is fine. I mean, it did effectively start in Duelist Nexus, and the story's been unfolding, and you're probably going to see 6 more sets of this stuff. 5 more sets? To be fair, I think Branded had, 12 sets of support? technically, throughout like the timeline itself. So we'll probably see Diabellstar kind of hold up. Vices felt it was a cool lore, and if they're like, all right, so we're going to amputate this because, you know, we're now on the main lore here, or since we've gone back in time, it would be a cool idea to hold a set and go, hey, you know, let's go ahead, let's, you know, make them think that the Vices lore is done. Because on the last wave of support, we got Triskeluda, which is obviously a Tier Elements monster, joining into the Manadeum side of things, which I love that idea. I think that that is cool, all right? But I'm going to be really disappointed if we're not exploring the idea of the other monsters. Like, I want to see, you know, my boy Fenrir be a Manadeum, or, you know, a Scareclaw. Like, that would be cool. I loved the idea that, you know, it wasn't really going back in time. It was like an alternate timeline branch. That's why you saw Triskeluda joining, you know, the lore side for Manadeum. That was cool. But, like, you mean to tell me that people are just scared? Honestly, with the way that the set's lining up right now, there's really no main deck support lines that we could have. Now, I was joking. I was like, you know, we are missing a ritual archetype. And we already know that if we were really going to try to push rituals, it's typically not going to end up too well. I hate to say this, but most ritual support ends up not being the greatest. Silent Force stuff is really cool. It basically acts as a very good engine for things that you're trying to put out here for it. But the problem is it's just it's splashable, and that's fine. But it's like, if you're looking at the 4 bangers that we've already hammered out here in the Vices lore, Ritual just it's going to be Malkota all over again from Burning Abyss. Yeah, I bet y'all forget that Burning Abyss has a Ritual monster, all right? Trust me, I forget every single day. All right, at least I want to forget about Malkota. All right, it's in terms of like the way that the game is going, in terms of story, I like how we always have these little branches. Now, obviously, people still want more branded storyline. It amazes me out here because where they left branded, I mean, they left it as a very strong metagame contender, but if it's not getting more support, then, you know, the game's ever-existing power creep is going to continue to turn, and it's going to continue to dust itself off into the chasm of time, which is a unique way of things for sure, with them doing their thing. I mean, they could come back and visit Albaz and Friends years from now. I mean, it's not like we've seen Orcus support in how long? You know, Sky Striker was an exception from that era. There hasn't been Thunder Dragon support in how long? You know, when they leave these old eras, but I mean, to be fair, I guess Orcus was kind of, you know, that old era's timeline. So yeah, it would make sense as to why we're not getting more of that, because the story's done. You know, the story-based archetypes are a unique position versus something like, for the first time in a very long time, Dual Terminals getting support. So, you know, we've gone back to that old era. We've opened up the door and we said, hey, we can do this. Which now means that at some point, we could get more Orcus support. But the question of this is, it's going to be so much further away than anything else. So, moral of the story here. Vices looks like it's in a time loop. Rumor says that the lore is done, according to a few people that are scholars that love to look at art and go, see, it's a time loop, it's done. And looking at like set numbers here, unless they're going to bring out something extra deck related, this set, I think our Vices lore might actually just be on hold or it's done. And that's really disappointing because I was really digging that story. I think a lot of people were too. Diabellstar has moved on in to the main block storyline here. Branded is just, it's a donezo at this point in time, unfortunately. So, and to the people out here that are like, hey, Orcus support, Nightmare support, come on, Robbie, you know, not anytime soon. I mean, the Infernoid support was so left field. Konami, you need to keep doing that, by the way. Make another Terminal World set, Terminal World 2, do it next year. Exact same thing, pick 4 more themes, give it that level of support. People are going to literally be so happy. I've never seen a community be so happy for power-ups. It's actually nuts. So what do you guys think about the Vices lore? theory. Please, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let's see your beautiful faces back here today, guys. Peace out.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.